Imelda, I really appreciate you taking the time. But before I ask anything about the new album, does anyone in the world not call you Imelda? Like, is there a nickname that people call you by that we don't know about?
No.
Okay, lesson learned. Well, congratulations on this new album. I am a big fan of it because it shows off what a great singer and songwriter you are, as always. But people that first knew you as a rockabilly artist, they might be a little surprised. And what I love about it is it's simultaneously artistic and commercial. So not many people can pull that off. A song like Made to Love, like that could be the theme to the Olympics, but nobody can really go like, oh, she sold out or anything like that. So congratulations. And when did you finish the album?
Wow, thank you. I finished it mostly before lockdown over here. I finished writing it, but I had to do a few more bits of writing, few more bits of recording, but definitely all of the mixing in lockdown, which took way longer than if it had been in person, because it was myself and Tim Brand co-produced the album.
Yeah.
I produce or co-produce all my albums. So normally you'd get into the studio, book it for a week and spend every hour of the day in there. And it's quite an intense but very enjoyable process for me. It's like everything that you've been doing over the last while, all the recordings, all the back and vocals that I've done, all the guitars, every single take, you get to go through all of it and put it together like a jigsaw puzzle. And it's just, I know, it's like me being in a candy store, you know, it's just the most delicious part of the process. But I didn't get to do that. It was lots of emails back and forth that took ages. So, but I had most of it done before lockdown.
Most times I find that albums are two ways when it's an established artist like yourself. It's either there's two cameos on it, like two outside collaborator situations, or it's an all-star album. You're kind of the middle ground of that, where I think you've got like 5 or 6 outside collaborators. Did you know outright that you wanted to have such a collaboration heavy record?
I don't think it's a collaboration heavy record. I just think I just go by fun, really. I can't tell you that. I'd love to tell you it's a bigger thought process than that, but it's really not for me. It's just pure fun, and I get really worked up. I'm quite childlike in that way, you know, where I think, oh my God, you know, Ronnie would kill the solo on this. I'm gonna call Ronnie. No, it's more like that. And Ronnie and I had only worked together on his Chuck Berry tribute album. So I was saying, would you be up for it? He was like, let me know. I would love to. Let me know if you need me. I'm on it. So because we'd such a great time. We did a short tour of his Chuck Berry album, and it was just magical. We had a great time. And so of course I wanted to work with him again. Of course I wanted to repeat, you know. So I was like, yes. And I called him, said, do you fancy doing? And the same as Noel, you know, it was like we were texting, and I knew I wanted it to be a duet. And I'd not long before I had seen Noel in the Palladium with High Flying Birds. And my brain was, as I was watching, was going, because I was really needing it on that. I knew that song should have been a duet. And I thought Noel would be, I love his voice. Yes. I love his right, of course, but I thought, God, Noel, fucking, he would really, that it needs a sexy voice, and he has that, you know, needed that vibe. And so we were texting and just asked him to do it. And Gina Martin, Dr. Shola Moss, by Mimu, they're wonderful feminists and human rights fighters for love. So it just made perfect sense to have their voices on a song. And I don't mean just voices as in singing voice. I mean, lend their voices to a song that was about fighting for love. And Niall McNamee, you know, he and I had met, and you know, we had a bit of a spark and ended up writing together. And he's now downstairs making me a cup of coffee. He's still here.
Did you have to pare it down from like 30 songs or something like that?
But sorry?
Did you have to pare it down? I apologize for interrupting, but
No.
sometimes when you hear an album and has, 10, 12 songs, the artist is like, yeah, well, we chose the best, batch from the 30. Did you have to pare down a lot of songs, or did every song you write for the album make the album?
Oh no, I had about 18 I definitely wanted on the album. And then I had to pare it down from that. And I don't know, I don't know what I'll do with the others, or if I'll do anything at all. I tend to overwrite on each album. But I think I almost never go back, because when it's time to write something else, I'm in a different place, So I just leave them at that period of time. If they weren't supposed to be on the album, then maybe it's time I should just leave them go. But there are a couple on there that I think I'd like to do something with, and I don't know what yet.
Cool. Well, one of the things that I think is cool about you and your discography is that you're not afraid to start an album with a ballad. A lot of people have to kind of front load albums where like started with something loud or fast or upbeat, and then they ease into the ballad. Whereas in your case, you're able to go, this is a great song. I'm starting with the great song. Did you ever have any hesitance or blowback from record companies going, start with the peppy thing?
Oh God, no. No, they know me well. They're used to me being headstrong. And I wonder if part of that is, excuse me, I've never been formally musically educated. So I've always like I learned from singing and playing and pubs and listening, and so I think maybe everything I do is ruled by my gut, what feels right. So I never have a methodical view, because I can't see, that I don't see what the method is or what it's for, other than if it feels right or doesn't feel right. That's it really for me. If I mooch them all around, and I'll play it a million times and
Sure.
change the order of them, and then would have to listen back to the beginning again to feel how it flows and twist and turn. Of course I'll take advice, with record company or management, where if I get stuck, the same as you would, I'll say, listen, do you think this variation, or if I flip those two songs around at the end, or this? And of course I'll listen. I'm not that pig-headed, but it is really it's from I think it's from the right place, from me. It's all about art and creativity and just what feels good.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that you weren't formally trained. That's not something that I think that people would pick up on, because when they see you perform, and this is a compliment, there's no like backhanded but to it. When they see you perform, you're just very natural on stage. You don't look like a person who'd ever be nervous before going on stage. But when people first learned about you as a rockabilly kind of artist, a lot of people were asking, hey, who are Imelda's influences? And we heard about Eddie Cochran and early Elvis and that kind of stuff. I was curious if you ever had bad influences or metal influences, because otherwise I'm only seeing that you only listen to cool music your whole life that you could never be embarrassed about.
But I don't think there is bad music as such. Well, of course there is bad music, but if it's all led to being inspired, then it's led to something, if you like. But it wasn't just Eddie Cochran and Gene. That's what, it's funny, that's what people printed. I'd give a long list of things, and they'd narrow would make sense to the interview, or who they thought I would be, and they'd narrow it down. But I always said it was a massive mixture. I think Billie Holiday was my first record. Then I got into Helen Wolf, Sisters Out of Tarp, Ruth Brown, and then it went all the way through into, of course, Janis Joplin and Aretha Franklin, Rolling Stones, David Bowie, The Clash, Ramones, The Cramps. It just kind of it was everything just that moved me. And continuously just Pink Floyd was a massive influence on me. The backing vocals in The
Yeah.
Great Gig in the Sky, I tried to copy that over and over and over because I've never heard somebody seemingly lose it. And I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah.
And that was a massive influence to me. But of course, I mean, I love loads of bonkers stuff as well. I love Whitney Houston. That's my karaoke go-to. I love Diana Ross. And they're all brilliant. Can't really say there's that to Boney M. But are they bad? I don't think they're bad. I think they're great.
I think that's something that's bad. You hear that enough times and you realize you know every syllable of it, and it becomes good without you knowing it. And Boney M definitely is in that category. Are you the kind of artist?
When I got into Boney M, I was only a child, and I remember hearing them, and I remember we were in church a lot because I was brought up typically Irish Catholic. And I remember they did a few hymns like down by the riverside and all that. And I was going, oh my God, I thought they made it really cool. And then I thought I'd never heard hymns kind of sung like that because it was always very folky that I was into. So I suppose, I don't know, I thought they were when I was a kid, I thought they were really cool. So I have a love for them forever, I suppose.
Well, I appreciate that honesty. Are you able to listen to music when you're in your writing mode?
No, good question. No, because it's weird. People presume, if you're in a house. For me, when I'm songwriting, it's the quietest house because otherwise I just write that song, and you don't even realize you're doing it. It might be the next day or 2 days later, and you go, "Oh, I have a great song." There's a storm. Oh, this is good. Hang on.
Yeah, that reaffirms that shows me you are a Bowie fan, because that's a pretty good deep cut.
So I have to not listen, or I'll write that, and then I'll listen to the rest of the time.
And then what about with media otherwise? When you're writing an album, do you avoid TV and movies, or do you actually go to that for inspiration?
No, the inspiration should already be in there, I reckon, for writing for me, because I'm like a sponge. I soak it up, and I have quite there's a hunger in me, I get upset that I can't know it all now. I can't hear it all, understand it all. I hear books. My house is full of books, and I want to read them all now. And I'll dip out of them all, and I get upset that I don't, especially with classics and all. You'll talk to somebody and someone say, have you never heard? You go, why don't I know that? And then I start delving into everything they've ever written. And so I get upset that I don't, so all that's in there, everything's in there already. So when I do take a break to write, I think I don't need to listen to anything. I need to stop and get my own thoughts in order, because I've already taken it all in throughout, like daily, hourly. It's kind of nonstop. It's a bit obsessed, I think. I'm not mad with it, but I'll flick through books regularly, and I'll always write down little notes, and I write poetry more than songs, really. So there's always lyrics going on backs of envelopes, or I love listening to people, and I'll often, when somebody's talking to me, I'll often say, "Oh God, that's a beautiful phrase. You should write that."
That is an excellent answer. I really am glad to hear that inspiration comes from different media, different times, different emotions. So hence why 11 Past the Hour is, again, such a great album. And so 2 quick questions. The first one, have you already started thinking about the next album, or are you really one album you have?
Yes. I'm ready to go to start, but I can't yet.
Got it. I can imagine, but it's good to see that you have the Isle of Wight gig and all that planned. So the future looks very bright for you. So my last question, keeping you on time here, is any last words for the kids?
Oh God, no, I think the opposite. I think I want to hear them. I think we need to listen to the kids more. They have more answers. They have the answers. They're way more clued up than anybody else. I mean, they're on it with in terms of the planet and diet and what we should be doing, and the music coming out at the moment is phenomenal. There's so much great music. So no, I'd rather hear from them than tell them anything. They know way more than me.
Well, I can't thank you enough for your time, and I look forward to seeing you live in New York when things get normal again.
Thank you very much. Take good care of yourself. And that's a lovely Irish name, Darren is.
Thank you. My wife is the O'Shea, but I'm the Long Island Jewish guy. What can you do?
You're Darren.
Yeah.
Darren's Irish.
Yeah. No one's Irish in my family. They got it from the TV show Bewitched.
Oh, okay. But you got to look into there's a reason why you were named that. You better look into it.
You've given me homework, and I look forward to doing that homework. But have a wonderful rest of the day, and just keep up the great work there.
Take care. Thanks so much.
Paltrocast.